And the big surprise in this video is, yes, we're gonna give away these monitors to one of you guys to celebrate 100,000 subscribers here on YouTube, which we hit a couple of weeks ago. Here we go, by popular demand. You saw me putting them on my desk. You see them right now behind me. Wait, I'm covering them, am I? Kali Audio IN-5 new compact coaxial monitors. Let's see how they sound. Hello everyone, welcome back to MixbusTv. Hope you're having a great day. Before we start, please check the info box down below for my mixing courses on Pro Mix Academy, free plugins, discounts, special offers, and of course if you want to support the channel, but most important, if you want to access the real stuff, an already big and always growing library of professional, in-depth mix and mastering videos and courses here on YouTube without having to go and sign up on another website. Click the join button down here, see all the perks of becoming a MixbusTv member, which includes mix consultations with me via Skype or email. Let's get to the video. All right, they are the new hot product out there. Everybody's talking about them, and a lot of people were waiting for my review on the new Kali IN-5. And the big surprise in this video is, yes, we're gonna give away these monitors to one of you guys to celebrate 100,000 subscribers here on YouTube, which we hit a couple of weeks ago. Thanks, Kali Audio. Thanks to all of you. How to win? As simple as it gets. Comment down below this video and share the video to your social media pages. We're gonna pick the winner from the comments in 2 weeks from when this video is gonna be released. The new model in the family, this is a compact monitor with the same coaxial design of the big brother, the IN-8. First of all, let me tell you, I've always been fascinated by coaxial design, and if you know what it is, basically you have the tweeter, which is inside one of the drivers, in this case, the mid-range, okay? We have a 1-inch tweeter and a 4-inch driver and a 5-inch driver. Now, the coaxial design is interesting because the thought process behind it is that if the sound comes from one single point, instead of, for example, other monitors which have the tweeter separated for the driver, you have less phase issue, and it's actually true. If the design is done correctly, coaxial monitors are really cool. And before Kali, coaxial monitors were either really expensive or kind of crappy. But Kali Audio proved over and over with the LP6, with the LP8, with the IN-8 that they are able to put out absolutely great product at a very affordable price. I have myself the LP8, which you don't see, but they are behind me, behind the mixing position, hooked with their Bluetooth receiver and volume controller, which is actually hooked to my main system wireless. So this is very convenient because I can listen to the mix on those speakers behind me or turn and face them all wireless. But I find this model particularly interesting because, well, first of all, price range is crazy low. And second, because of the coaxial design. And I was very curious to hear how Kali Audio, a brand that I like, would do the coaxial design. And of course, I had these monitors here for a while. I had the chance to mix a couple of songs with them. And also I've been listening to a lot of music to them for this review. And I gotta say, I'm genuinely impressed with them. So we have a stupid low price point, coaxial design. The other thing is, I like the size of them, the compact format, which is perfect for any studio. You have a big one, like me, you can use them as near field. You have a small room, like it's the case for many people out there. This can be your main monitors. You may want to pair them with a sub. We're going to talk about this in a minute. But the mid-range on these things and the clarity and the balance, it's second to none. Before I refresh my memory and play a couple of tracks here with you guys, let's take a look at what comes with the monitors other than the box. We have this paper here. This is a quick guide. It tells you the basics. For example, your tweeter, as you probably know already, should be at your ear height and not more than 10 degrees higher or lower. Then, as you can see here, you can position them any way you want, up, down, or horizontal, which is not the case for the LP series, okay? So because of the coaxial design, you can use these horizontal. That's a good thing. And here it gives you the measurements of a good starting point for positioning the monitors for both the IN-5, the LP6, and the IN-8 and LP8. On the back of the monitors, we have, of course, our power plug with the on-off switch. And you have 3 types of connection: RCA in, -10 dBV, TRS in, +4, and XLR, of course, +4 dBu. Your volume knob, and here you have a chart to how to set up the onboard equalizer here, based on where are you going to place the monitors. And we have 8 different possible scenarios, more than half a meter from the back wall, less than half a meter from the back wall, completely attached to the back wall. On a mixing console like mine, vertical. On a mixing console like mine, horizontal. And then on a flat desk, if you are right against the wall, less than half a meter, further than half a meter. And at the bottom, you have the settings with the numbers on how to move these switches here. Plus, you have two general shelf equalization. This is for the low end if you want plus 2 dB neutral or minus 2 dB for the low end, and the same for the high end. So like I said, let me refresh my memory. Let me play a couple of familiar tracks on these right now, and then I'll tell you all the details. I'm gonna start with something very familiar, Bella Kelly Single Throat.
Can kill, but dance so tastefully, how that man can kill. Tongue on mine, grip me tight. I don't want you for the night, I want you for my whole damn life. Hands on my neck, hands grip my throat. Lift me up, man, take control. Heart is so gone, my type. Don't you know I fall for the bad type?
So you saw me playing with this, you can't see it here, but here there's my monitor controller, the MC 3.1. And what you heard was me soloing bends, because I can do that with my monitor controller from here. I was soloing the lows, I was soloing the mids, I was soloing the highs. And the very first thing that totally impresses me about these monitors, and you saw me moving left and right, because this is something very important for me, is how wide is the sweet spot, how the frequency response changes, how the stereo image changes, how the balance changes, if at all. Ideally, you want to have a very wide sweet spot, but that's very hard, okay? And usually is the high end, especially the tweeter. Some tweeters are very laser focused, and as soon as you move your head from the sweet spot, which of course would be dead center, things don't sound the same, okay? And for me, it is important because I have gear left and right. I move around my desk when I mix. You saw me soloing the highs in particular, so basically just the tweeter, so to speak. It's not exactly like that, but I couldn't hear any change. And I'm pretty sure most of you, if you do the same experiment and just solo the highs on a mix that you know well, and you start moving your head from the sweet spot, you hear kind of phasing, you hear one side going away, and sometimes even substantially. So you don't really hear that high end that well anymore. Also, another thing that I really like about this is the overall balance. They're not too bright, they're not too boomy, they're not too mid-forward. They feel really, really balanced. And whether or not they are flat in frequency response or not, and they actually are, because I saw the graphics, not that I care about specs, but it's important, right? Regardless how they measure, they do sound extremely balanced. There are no hypes in the mids or highs or lows. And this is without touching anything. I didn't touch the EQ on the back that we've seen before. I actually tried really quick a couple of settings. One was the settings for if you have them on the desk like this, and one was a little more highs and a little more lows. And first of all, those changes are really subtle, which I like. You know, it's not gonna be like a gigantic boost on the lows or a massive change in the mids or the highs if you change that EQ. It's very smooth, it's very natural. But even though on the back, say if you have it on the desk, set them like that, I still prefer them flat, you know? And I think this is a good thing, because the less EQ, the less processing you have, even though their EQ is very well designed. I know, I spoke to Nate, they are very proud of, you know, the EQ that is on board these speakers, and it's very good. I still prefer them flat. And this is completely personal taste, is how you are used to hear things. How is your room? Of course, my room is treated. So I personally prefer them flat. And I found them at the same time kind of pleasing to listen to, in a sense that they're not fatiguing at all. The tweeter is nowhere near harsh. It's actually really smooth, yet details. Same for the mid-range. I recognize all the details that I know are in this specific mix in particular but they're not fatiguing, okay? And some monitors are like that. They are so extremely detailed and so fast that unfortunately, when you mix on those, your mixes don't translate outside, because that much detail you don't find not only in any other monitors, but even less on commercial reproduction systems. It's always a fine line between how much detail you have on your monitors and how revealing they are, to having too much of that so that everything you mix on those monitors sound dual, because you kind of held back in the mix, because otherwise they are too piercing or too detailed and fatiguing, okay? So this is one very, very good thing about these monitors. I feel like there's a really, really good balance between detail and easy of use, as in they're not fatiguing, okay? Now the low end, something a lot of people ask me about already. Now these are front ported, meaning the bass reflex. You have the port on the front, which has some benefits and some drawbacks. Some other monitors are rear ported, so depending on what is the design, there's not one better or worse. Depends on the design, how well is implemented, and where you're gonna place the monitors, of course. One thing that you commonly find with front ported is kind of a hyped low end, and some badly designed ports do make noise. This is not the case. The low end on these is, again, very, very balanced. Now, keep in mind that these are, at the end of the day, 5-inch speakers, okay? So that's the low-end drive. And then you have the 4-inch mid-range and with the coaxial design and the 1-inch tweeter there. So you can't expect the low end, of course, of, I don't know, my mains. It's unreal to even, expect something like that. But they do go low enough. And more important than how low they go is how clean that low end is and how accurate that low end is. I feel these monitors, these little monitors, have an extremely focused low end, which is, believe me, what you want. You don't want a big boomy low end that excites you when you listen to them, but then it doesn't translate. And when I say it doesn't translate, you know what it means? It means you hear all this low end in your room and you're excited and you think you sound good, and you go out and your mix sounds skinny because you held back with the low end, okay? But the quality of the low end is more important than the quality. And these, like I said, is very focused, is very fast. You could probably pick it up from the phone even when I was listening to this mix. That kick drum, which is not extremely deep, but is deep enough, you could feel it punch and you could hear the low end and you could hear the 808. I can hear the 808 here. And if I had to mix a song with these alone, I would. Now, ideally, I will be honest, I would probably, if you want a full range system, I would pair these with the Kali sub. And I think this is how the system is meant to be. Even if a low level, I would advise to pair these with a Kali sub, because I heard the Kali sub as well, and it's badass. But even on their own, especially if you're producing, these are absolutely great monitors for production because of what I said at the beginning, because they feel and sound extremely flat. They're not hyping anything and they are not predefine your production. Another thing, they do sound very familiar, at least they did to me. They did sound very familiar right off the bat. Maybe because I already have 2 other pairs of Kalis, but they sound kind of different because of the design, okay? The 2 designs, the 2 ways, or in this case, the coaxial 3 ways, there's not a better or worse, because they both bring something to the table when you listen critically. You're mixing, all right, or you're producing. But I gotta say, the coaxial design, it kind of brings the pleasure of a very easy to listen system with the accuracy of a very detailed monitoring system, okay? This is not easy. I'm gonna listen to another couple of tracks really quick and then wrap this one up.
Wake up to bread and butter and not give a damn about the pick me in the gutter. Go sleep last night with no supper, and all the while the shit still keep on getting tougher, yo. Me no know about the one, yo, them no care about the newborn and the hungry mouth where I yarn. Out of them say about your back.
2 things I want to say. I was reminded by listening to this piece of music. One is that fast transient response. I hear here all those percussions. I mastered this track, so I know it very well. I know the details of it, and they translate really, really well. And the other thing, again, it's pretty impressive how wide the sweet spot is, and the low end doesn't rattle or get distorted or anything. They probably have a lot more juice than I'm giving them in the tank. And the other thing, when I was working on a mix, is extremely important. They expose distortion really, really well. And that's something that many monitors out there don't do right. Because distortion, some kind of saturation, some kind of distortion, we talked about this in videos not related, they kind of mask in a mix. And so when you mix on monitors that are not revealing in that sense, you have bad surprises, because you go out in the car or you go out to a friend, you play your mix that was sounding good, and now you start hearing distortion. These monitors, they actually expose distortion extremely well, which I think is just a combination of the design and the implementation. Let me hear one more song just in case I can think of something else. Dude. Yeah, I mean, they are punchy as, you know, and not punchy in an hyped way. They really are revealing in that sense. I like them very much. And the other thing that impressed me since the first time, but right now especially, is the stereo field. I have these two monitors really close, and I like to have my nearest field really close because they don't hype the stereo image, right? They tell you the truth. If something is sounding wide in this configuration, it will sound freaking gigantic outside. You know, it's kind of working backward a little bit. But these give you a really, really nice picture and a sound stage, I want to say, you would expect from a lot bigger and a lot more expensive monitors. This is, again, very hard to achieve. And if you've been following the channel these past weeks, you know that right now we are all about, you know, stereo placing and stereo tricks with this thing behind me here. Video will come soon about that. But yeah, these are pretty impressive and they pack a punch for the size of these things. But yeah, they are absolutely great monitors. If you have questions and I forgot something, please leave it in the comment down below, and you have to comment on this video anyway, because like I said, we are giving this pair away to one of you guys to celebrate 100,000 subscribers here on YouTube. The plaque is coming. So we're gonna have a video unboxing that, probably with Bella. Thank you everyone for the 100,000, for the support, for the love. Thank Callie for sending this and being with me in this giveaway. Callie proved to be a brand that we can trust. So this is it for this video. I hope you liked it. I hope it was useful. And if you did, please don't forget to leave a like and share. Follow MixbusTv on Instagram and Facebook as well. There's a lot of news and exclusive content in there as well. And also 2 more giveaways. And also follow Bella Kelly Official on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, because there's another surprise. She will announce another giveaway. We are also very close to filming the second video, so there's gonna be a ton of exclusive material behind the scenes, and later down the line, a new remix contest, which is gonna be pretty insane with so many more surprises than the first one. Like we didn't have enough. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already, and click the join button here if you want to become a member and access to exclusive content, in-depth mixing and mastering videos and courses. Take care. See you next time.
Hands on my neck, hands grip my throat. Lift me up, man, take control. Heart is so